Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. We appreciate your time and your patience waiting on us. First today, we're going to hear from Boone County Sheriff Mike Nielsen. After his comments, we will then hear from Superintendent of the Indiana State Police, Doug Carter. After they're finished, we'll take some questions, a few questions from the media, very narrow questions, and we may not be able to answer all your questions, of course, because this is just beginning of this investigation. But we thank you for your time, and we'll begin now with Sheriff Nielsen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Today, the thin blue line was shattered. Deputy Jacob Pickett, a 5-year veteran of the Boone County Sheriff's Office, was shot today at approximately 9:40 a.m. Our hearts go out to his wife, Jen, their 2 young boys, Jake's mom and dad, and all of his family. We are deeply saddened to say that Jake will not survive his injuries. Jake continues to give life after death by being an organ donor. Jake's life is being sustained so that he can continue to serve and to help others. The public safety family of Boone County is heartbroken. We have lost a K-9 officer, a deputy, a friend, a warrior, and a brother. There are no words that can explain the grief that we feel today. We are family. We are grieving. We are desperate for God's mercy and grace. Please continue to pray for Jake's family and for the public safety officers of Boone County. The next several days will be some of the hardest we have ever been through, but together we will endure this hardship and persevere. I want to thank the public safety agencies from across this great state, which have come to assist us in this time of tragedy. We are extremely grateful for the outpouring of support from the citizens, the public safety agencies, the hospital staff, and so many others. We wish to personally thank all of you. Before I turn it over to Superintendent Carter, I would like to quote Scripture. Ephesians 6:10, "Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might." I will now turn this conference over to Superintendent Carter of the Indiana State Police.
Thank you, Sheriff. I thought I was prepared to stand up here and give you some facts around what happened today in the city of Lebanon, but words tend to escape me once again. To stand next to this gentle giant to my left is the highest of my honors, and I've seen him through the good and the bad for more than 3 decades, and I am eternally grateful, Sheriff Nielsen, for what you bring to our profession.
Thank you, sir.
I think you know some of the of what has been previously released, but this started with an attempt to serve a warrant, and during this time that they were trying to serve the warrant, they observed another person that was wanted on a warrant. That was the Baldwin Jr. When they told Baldwin Jr. to stop, he got into a vehicle and fled with 2 other people. The pursuit began with Lebanon PD, and then this guy by the name of Deputy Jake Pickett jumped in to the pursuit. The pursuit went to the east side of Lebanon, where 2 of the suspects got out of the vehicle and fled. One was pursued by Deputy Pickett and his K-9 Brick. Not long after Deputy Pickett exited his car and rounded the corner of a building, he was shot in the head. The shooter's name is Anthony Baumgart, 21 years old, from Lebanon, and he had an outstanding warrant for failure to appear in Marion County. He was shot, but is not experiencing and will not experience life-threatening injuries. We will remain with Mr. Baumgart until such a time as he can leave here and be immediately incarcerated. To the Boone County family, to the Boone County Public Safety Agencies, a sincere thank you, as the sheriff said. There is no reason for the citizens of the city of Lebanon Zionsville, Northwest Indianapolis to live in fear. We believe that we have all three people that were involved in this, and there is no reason for concern. We will support this sheriff during this criminal investigation, and I ask the citizens of Boone County and anyone that might have any information, be via social media, whatever that might be, whatever means a person might receive information, to please call the Indiana State Police with that information, and we will follow up. One thing that I saw today that will stand with me for a long, long time was the unity in the public safety family of Boone County. It's unbelievable. It's just extraordinary. And I've seen it in a couple other places around Indiana too. Really, 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 really special. Folks, it doesn't matter if you're in blue, green, brown, or gorilla suit. We're all doing the same job here, and we're doing it together. And I don't understand evil in our society. What would have caused that individual to pull that trigger on that brave public servant? I guess we'll never really know. But with that said, I offer my deepest condolences. I've talked to the governor on multiple occasions today. Any resource the state of Indiana has is yours, and it will be that way until we're done. And I promise you, we will be done. I think now we'll open up for a few questions, and we'll do the very best we can to answer them. Remember, this is less than 12 hours old.
Sheriff, our condolences to your department. You described your deputy as being a warrior, a friend. Can you just give us a sense, for those who didn't have the opportunity to know Deputy Pickett, more about him, sir? If you might refer the mic.
Absolutely. Jake worked for the Tipton County Sheriff's Office. His goal was always to be a K-9. He was with Tipton County, I think, for a little over 2 years. We hired him 3 years ago, and I immediately saw the passion and the drive and the fire in Jake when I hired him that day, and he was so excited to be part of our team. And as I interviewed him that day after the Board of Captains, I knew that he wanted to be a K-9 officer. And we recently this year have indoctrinated 4 K-9s. And he was that team leader for that K-9 team. A father, a son. He was absolutely an amazing person. And he was a warrior. He was out there with our criminal interdiction unit that we just started up, being actively involved in that. Anything that Jake could participate in, he participated in it. So our hearts are saddened today. It is an unbelievable loss. The only other line of duty death that the Boone County Sheriff's Office has had is in 1935 when Sheriff Pepper was en route to an alarm call, and his vehicle got in a collision and he was killed. But this is something that nobody ever wants to happen. And what I can tell you is that Jake was a good man and he was a warrior. He went after that person today, and he was in the process of getting him along with Brick.
Sheriff, the public will want to do something for you. They want to figure out a way to connect with you. How should the public do that? How do you want the public to engage you in the next couple of hours and days as you grieve?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I really appreciate that. I was on the scene today and helped provide CPR to Jake. And what I can tell you is that I have not even thought about how we are going to handle that. So if you give me the next 12 hours to come up with a press release, we will get that press release out on how people can help and how we can help Jake's family. But to be honest with you, right now, it was all about our department. It was all about Jake. It was all about Brick, his K-9, and taking care of his family today. And that's going to be important in the days to come, because we're going to post an officer with his wife. We will post an officer with Jake until he is finally laid to rest.
Was this his normal beat, sir, this morning? Was the officer ready?
It was. And Jake was always in the middle of it, okay? And that's where he wanted to be. So he did work day shift and recently was transferred to day shift.
When was the last time you talked to him? What was the last conversation you had?
About our K-9 team, and actually it was yesterday. All of our command staff got together about how we can make the K-9 team, and Jake was excited about the best way that we could do that. And it was with the 4 K-9 team members with Jake. So it was yesterday when I last talked to him.
Did Jacob have any children, and how old was he?
He had 2 kids, and I apologize, I don't know how old they were. I think they are 3 years old and 4 years old, but I'm not positive of that.
How old is he?
That's a good question too, and I will find that out for you. 30 years old.
Could you spell his last name so we make sure we have it accurate?
Yes, I believe it's Pickett.
How many deputies do you have, and how are you going to deal with this offense?
So we have secured the Boone County Fairgrounds. I just briefed all of my officers and the officers from all of the departments. I don't know if you know, but on the second floor, the hospital was gracious enough to give us some private space, and that whole floor is full of public safety officers. And I just finished briefing them before I came to this press conference, and we are asking them to go back to the Boone County Fairgrounds so we can all grieve together. We are learning on what we are going to have to do over the next several days, several weeks, several months, and several years. And that was the message, along with a prayer that we had with everybody upstairs just before this press conference.
Sheriff, the age of the boys, the Pickett boys, his children, do you?
I think they're 3 and 4, but we can find that out for you, and I'll make sure that you know.
Superintendent Carter, you were very clear that the shooter is Anthony Baumgart. Is that correct, sir? Do you want to clarify, or is he the shooter in this case?
No, we believe that Anthony Baumgart is the shooter.
What's the direct spelling of his last name?
I believe it's Baumgart.
And do you know how many shots were fired?
We believe 3.
2 by, did
3.
Deputy Pickett fire any?
He did not. There was another officer that engaged in this gunfight, but I cannot release his name yet.
Deputy Pickett was shot once.
I can't talk about other than what I've already indicated.
So then Baumgartner was shot by a different officer?
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Superintendent, your message to them, to all the men and women that are wearing blue, green, brown today, as they focus on what's happening in Boone County, as the state's top cop, what do you say to those folks that are doing their jobs as we speak and are thinking about what happened to Sheriff Nielsen and the men and women of this department?
I just can't think of a more admirable profession for a person to lay down his life for the life of another. I worry about it every single day, and it's the highest of honors to be able to represent this profession the way in which I do, the way in which Sheriff Nielsen does. And unfortunately, it takes times like this when we suddenly don't think the things that we worry about are really important, right? And right now, it's the community of Boone County, Boone County Sheriff's Office, the city of Lebanon, the Lebanon PD, and all those other entities, Zionsville, just swarmed into the city of Lebanon. You all. Oftentimes we forget to say thank you to you for getting not only for getting our message out there, but making this a priority. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
Did Jacob's canine officer, I believe his name was Rick, did he actually get the suspect, the bad guy?
Jacob, we know Jacob got out of the vehicle. We don't know exactly where he went or what he did when he did get out of the vehicle, but we know he was very close to the location where Jake was found.
The canine?
I'm sorry?
The canine actually got the bad guy?
He did not. He did not.
Superintendent, no call that you respond to is ever routine. The last time we saw an officer killed the line of duty serving a warrant, I believe it was in Howard County, with Deputy Kuntz. What does it say about the way you folks do your jobs? In other words, do you need more people to do this? It just seems like you have to do a job, you have to remove people off the streets. The unknown is so variable.
Raphael, we can plan for those circumstances, but we can't let that overcome us. Remember, this was almost a byproduct of the initial warrant service. So they went to do a warrant service on an individual, and they happened to just see another person that was wanted on a warrant. So their attention went from what they initially planned to do to a secondary issue. And what did they do? They did the right thing, and it didn't work out for our profession today.
Sir, I was not questioning the procedures of the
Oh, no, I understand. I
Let
understand.
me flip the question on you, sir. This year we've got 14 police officers across the country killed in the line of duty. What does it say about the public's disregard for those that are doing the job? It appears that people, they don't mind, they don't seem to really care.
As I've said to all of you before, I refuse to allow evil to prevail here. And there are going to be these events that occur in a civilized society. But even in a civilized society, there are people that have no value for human life, but the vast majority do. And we in this profession can't lose sight of the vast majority that do. But I think you cause that to come right to the front of our minds. Today's actions causes us to come to the front of our minds. And every tear that I've seen this sheriff cry reminds me of how serious this business is.
Sheriff, how long had Brick been with Jacob, and what happened with Brick now?
Yeah, so I would like to just kind of piggyback on Raphael's question. We live in a different world than we did 30 years ago. We live where evil is present every single day. And our guys suit up every morning, and gals suit up every morning, and we go to war. And today we went to war, and we lost one of our warriors today. And we have to keep in mind that we will send that message and continue to send that message that evil will not prevail over us. And by the grace of God, we will continue that mission, and nothing will stop us at our mission. So the bad guys that are out there know that keep coming, because we're going to keep chasing you down, and we're going to find you, and we're going to put you in jail. And that's how I feel. Just like Superintendent Carter said, we will not let evil prevail. Brick has been with us for about 2.5 years. I think Brick is maybe 4 years old. He's a full utility dog, which means he's a bite dog as well as a dope dog. One of the best, actually is the best dog that we have on our department. And a lot of that is because of the passion that K9 Pickett had to train not only our standard training every month, which is four times a month, but he would come to the other trainings that we do just to make him better, himself better, as well as Brick better.
Sir, you said you performed CPR. You must have been at the scene very quickly. How were you there so quickly?
I was in my office. I heard the call come out that they were in a pursuit, and I started that way from my office. And I'm sorry. We were able to, after the shots fired, I was one of the first 3 officers on the scene, and the officers were administering CPR and life-saving measures for Jake, and the medics got there, and I will say that our medics are top class. The Lebanon Fire Department, all of our public safety personnel from an emergency services standpoint, did everything they can to save Deputy Pickett today. But there was many of us involved in this pursuit today.
Were there other officers who actually witnessed him being shot?
I can't answer that because I don't know that.
Sheriff, since he was a K9 officer, did Jake speak German or Dutch, or what did Brick respond to? Do you know?
I think Dutch, but I'm not positive that he was. Yes.
For clarity's sake, sir, you talked that Jake will be an organ donor. Is that full? Is that everything, or is that eye?
When I met with the doctor, I believe that's everything. Yes.
Can you speak a little bit to the kind of dad and the kind of husband he was?
Jake would go above and beyond for his kids. He would stop by, which we highly encourage, on duty. Jake actually was at a school working with a Whitestown police officer and some others showing kids Brick right before this happened. So his passion for not only his kids, but his passion for making sure that the kids understood the K9 and what the K9 program is and what he did every single day was very high. And he took his job very seriously.
Sheriff, for clarification as well, he was with you for 3 years, but with Tipton for 2. Right?
Yes, so he's a 5-year veteran of law enforcement. Yes, sir.
Got one more.
Let me jump into this just one time. To the citizens of Indiana, we live in the state of perpetual sadness, it seems to me, every single day. And we know that we're going to have tremendous support from our communities, not just here in central Indiana, but literally all over the country. But let's not lose sight of and care of the surviving families. I can close my eyes and think back on the number of times we've had to do this. And it seems there's always young families, there's always young kids. I appreciate you paying attention to us, but I think everybody standing up here today would say, don't lose sight of them either. Okay? So I guess I'm imploring with you to do what you already do, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to not say that to you.
Well, sir, speak to the future recruits then, sir, because you just recently, many of you have recruit classes. How do you speak to them? How do you encourage other folks to do what you do in a lot of these situations?
We do it. We're right up front with them. We're right up front and we tell them. You know, today we have a different group of folks that are applying to our police agencies all over America, not just here in Indiana. But we're very candid and very upfront. There's not a more noble profession, not a more noble one. There's a lot that are as noble, but none more noble than giving way more of yourself than you'll ever get in return. So I say thank you to all of you, and we'll be back in touch with you once we continue to establish objective facts from what occurred. Thank you.